Hello and welcome to episode 165 of First Geek 411. I'm your host, Cameron Franklin, and with me, all the way from the Great White North, and our videos that I just set up are completely messed up. Shanine, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It is not so white outside anymore, so that's exciting.
I think I fixed our cameras. Um, and so that is good. I thought of you because I've doing some training at work, and the person is like, I'm from Ottawa. And they spent like a good portion of the time starting off the training talking about like, yeah, all the snow's already melting and all these kinds of things. I'm like, oh, more Canadian facts.
It's a big deal.
This week it is just the two of us. Chris and Emma were unable to attend, but we have some great topics for today. Specifically, we're chatting about Easter. We're chatting about Loki. We got some great announcements, and then we're doing our top 3 examples of faithfulness. Before we get into that, as always, listeners, you can find us on our social media. That was OneGeek411 on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then you can join our Discord server if you want to chat with us between episodes. You can also shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. And you can find our show notes on our website, onegeek411.com. You can watch live, 6:45 Mountain Time, here on Twitch, and be part of the post-show chat. And then you can find the videos over on our YouTube. We can like, comment, subscribe, all of those things. Then if you're a podcast listener, remember to rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. And then you can also find our merch over on our Redbubble store. Shanine, why don't you kick us off for this week with what you've been up to?
Alrighty, it has been a busy week. Of course, there was Falcon and Winter Soldier. Um, I've really been enjoying it. I think it's kind of like what we expected from a Marvel TV show, especially after WandaVision. Like, it's just very like, this is Marvel superheroes.
Right.
But I'm okay with it,
It's
especially after the last episode.
It's really funny because to that exact point, I feel like I see a lot of people talking about how like where's the mystery? Where's the intrigue? And it's like these like a lot of the people are the same people that were posting stuff about how like WandaVision wasn't like it wasn't real Marvel because there wasn't a lot of action, and it's just like let Marvel just be different things. Like it doesn't have to be just one thing. And so, but yeah, I completely agree with everything you've been saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen a lot of opinions. And I'm like, whatever. I loved WandaVision. I'm really enjoying Falcon and Winter Soldier. Take all the Marvel content I can get.
Mm. Do you
Yep.
have? Did you see the memes going around? They made me happy because I was making this joke to Deanna as we were watching it. But it's like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zemo and Sharon, and it's just like the ever growing list of like all the named characters on screen.
I have not seen that.
That was so good. It made me so happy.
I like it though. Um, yeah, we also rented Godzilla versus Kong, which after Monster Hunter was just the most amazing monster movie I've ever seen. I'm like, yes, this is how we do a monster movie, people.
I was curious, like, so, like, are y'all like Godzilla fans?
I'm not like a huge super fan, but I enjoy it.
Okay, that's kind of where I'm at with Godzilla. Like, as it's the, um, I am happy that they exist. And
Yeah,
that we just haven't got. We've talked about watching it as well, and we just haven't gotten there yet.
I'd recommend it. It was quite enjoyable. It was good. Yeah, without any spoilers, there are big monsters.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. There's not like huge super plot, but like you still need an overarching like
Mm-hmm.
storyline, and there was one, so that was good. And there was even some emotional connection, and it was great. I was invested. It
Nice.
was a good monster movie.
This is good. I've been watching like I talk about it a lot, but Kind of Funny does like an in review where they like go through movie series, and they were doing the monster verse like in preparation for this, and I feel like my like view on like kaiju movies is I always really like the idea of them more than the actual movie. If that makes sense. Like I feel like I should really like these, and then it's just like, oh, okay. I like they're just like not things that actually get me like into the theater to watch them. But
That's fair. See, this was the first like new movie
mm-hmm.
in the past year that we've watched that I've been like, oh, this would have been really great on the big screen. Like the other movies, I haven't minded just like watching them at home, but this one I was like a little sad.
Mm. Don't mind me as I just like adjust where we're at, like live on the fly. So things happen.
To do what you gotta
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
We also played another of our new board games, Here to Slay, which is by the same people who did Unstable Unicorns and Llamas Unleashed. And we really enjoyed this one. It's kind of like a dungeon party, and you're going and trying to slay monsters and create a full party with all of the classes. And yeah, it was just super fun. The same cute art, which I
Mm-hmm.
super appreciate.
Yeah, I love
And
their art style.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
And like,
I say as I'm like literally wearing a T Turtle shirt like right now, but
yeah, yeah, the art is so cute. And there's a bunch of foxes, and I'm super down for that.
what's like the premise of the game? Like in terms of like what you're doing, like you talked about like building a party, but like what's the gameplay premise? I guess.
Yeah, so there's like 6 classes of heroes, and like there's cards. So you're trying to collect all a card of like all 6 classes is one way to win. Or there's these monsters that you can fight, and you have dice to roll to do that. And you can also kill 3 monsters to win. And then you also have, there's different abilities and stuff on your hero cards as well that you can get on your monster cards. And then you can like roll to do some of those abilities, or they're just automatically triggered by what's happening.
Nice.
Stuff like that. It was really fun.
I really like. I mean, I say I really like their games. I say that with the caveat that Unstable Unicorns is the only one that I've played, but I really like the idea of their games because I feel like they're the type of game that like is very approachable,
Yeah.
but then like it isn't like a like kids game, like that kind of thing. There's actual strategy. There's actual like you're making choices. It's not like a boiled down game, just because it's approachable, and so I think that's something that they do really well.
Yeah. And I think this one is almost a step up in difficulty from Unstable Unicorns, but it's still not difficult. There's just like a bit more going on. Like with Unstable Unicorns, really all you're trying to do is like fill up your stable. Whereas this, you're like filling up your party and attacking monsters. It's not like a lot more, but it's enough different that I don't know, it's just more
Mm-hmm.
to keep track of. And it was more fun for us, I think, having a bit more going on in the game.
Nice, I got you.
Yeah. And the last thing that we did this week, we went on a bit of a road trip. We took my husband's vehicle down to a nearby city to get fancied up. So I had to drive him down, or we drove down separately and drove back together, left his car down there. And then halfway back, there's this, it used to be big. It's not very big anymore, but a Christian bookstore that we stopped at for a little bit, and I got 3 new books.
Nice. What books did you get?
I'm very excited. I got Chasing Vines by Beth Moore. It is my first Beth Moore, and I'm super excited, and I kind of can't believe I've never read any Beth Moore before.
Yeah, that surprises me.
I know, right? Yeah, weird. That one, I got That Sounds Fun by Annie F. Downs.
I like it.
Should be fun.
Yeah. Great podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been listening to some of her episodes recently. They've been great.
I've kind of fallen off with it. It's one of the podcasts that I feel has kind of hit the I don't listen to as many podcasts. And so this is one of the ones that just kind of like I just don't have time to listen to, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't keep up with it regularly, but sometimes I'm just in the mood for like her type of podcast.
Mm-hmm. One of my like life goals is to be on That Sounds Fun with her.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Do it.
Got to figure out how to become her friend. Since that is the premise of That Sounds Fun, is that you either have to be her friend or someone that you could see her becoming friends, or she could see herself becoming friends with.
I feel like she's friends with most people.
Yeah. I don't think it's a hard criteria. So.
And the last book I got is The Making of Biblical Womanhood by Beth Allison Barr. I think that's right. And so here's the funny thing. I thought that this was a totally normal trip to the bookstore where I bought books and they were just sitting out on the shelves and I bought them. And then I came home and posted like, yay, I got these books, so exciting. And people were like, what? You got that book? How? And I was like, it was on the shelf and I bought it.
With my money.
And they're like, that doesn't come out until April 20th. And I was like, it was on the shelf and I bought it.
Yeah.
Even the author was like, no, something happened there. You shouldn't have been able to buy that. And I'm like, yay me.
That's pretty good. Like that's kind of like the classic like store just doesn't know street date, like that kind of thing. Like I feel like that happens a lot.
Yep.
Just like right place, right time.
100%. Yeah. So that's kind of next on my reading list, just to spite everyone who can't have it.
Say, like it sounds like you need to read that and have it done before April 20th when it comes out. That way you can like be talking about it like leading up to it.
Yeah.
For some reason that made me think of like all the people it's like they would just like yell spoilers at like midnight book events or like leaving the movie theater will say spoilers and it's like you're the worst. It's like
I feel like it's a little harder to do spoilers for nonfiction.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe on this page they said this thing. They made this great point. Like,
oh my goodness, this book is all about the making of biblical womanhood. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, man.
What about you, Cameron?
So, talking about Here to Slay reminded me. We played King Domino again this week, which is one of our like go-to board games.
It's on my list of ones that I want to check out. Haven't yet though.
Yeah, highly recommend. It kind of has that same thing. And the reason I'm talking about Here to Slay reminded me that we had played it is it kind of has that same thing where it's like a super approachable game, but then like there is a lot of strategy to it because you're trying to like build the kingdom and stuff like that. And so we play when it's just Deanna and I. The way it works is normally you're supposed to build a 5x5 kingdom. But the way that the tiles work out is that if you play just 2-player, you can either do the 5x5 or you can do the 7x7. And so we always do the 7x7. And then there's a whole lot of just like trying to organize your pieces, make sure everything's laid out correctly. That way you don't get to the very end like me and get stuck with a piece you can't play. And then you lose by the exact amount of points that playing that piece would have gotten you. And so, but yeah, it's a great one. Again, it's one of those games that like it travels really easily because it's like you don't even really need to bring the box with you. It's one of those games that you could just put things into a like plastic bag and bring them. And so, but yeah, highly recommend. I don't know in hindsight, actually like in today's thing, I don't know if I would buy it or if I would just buy Queen Domino. Because Queen Domino is kind of like a standalone kind of expansion for it. Like it adds more to the game. Like you can play them together, but they also like live separately. But Queen Domino is like also a bit more complex, which kind of defeats one of the reasons I really like King Domino, is that it is that like easy to learn, hard to master kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So like it is what it is there, I guess. But yeah. And then on stream yesterday, I finally beat Control. Was definitely not expecting it to be over. Like it was just one of those games I thought I had a lot more. And then it was like, oh no, this is the end. It was a great ending. Highly recommend. Loved it. I should have the videos up on YouTube soon so people can go back and watch. But yeah, it's really good. So now I'm going to go through the DLC and all that stuff off stream and start doing a new on-stream game. So.
Nice. Any plans for what you're doing on stream next?
I don't know. I'm leaning towards God of War because I haven't played the new one and it's supposed to be amazing and there's a sequel coming.
Mm-hmm. My husband really liked it. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah. And like it's one of those like I've only ever heard good things about, and like it's part of the PlayStation Plus collection now. So like if you have a PS5 and have PlayStation Plus, you just get it for free. Now granted, my dad's had a copy of it that he's told me I could borrow, and I just haven't. So like clearly having free access hasn't like made me play it so far. But I think that's what it's going to be. We'll see. And I would be a lot more confident in that, except leading into my next point is that end of last week, I got a new PC. And so posted about it, pictures of it in the Discord. So I'm super excited about that, even though like I'm not the biggest PC gamer. Like I much prefer console games, but this kind of just like opens up a whole world of things that I could play that like, even like going into this tonight, like, I guess it was book club, was the last time that I hosted the video, and we were dropping frames like crazy and things like that, just doing this. And sure enough, like we seem to be doing fine. And so it's definitely just nice having those things, and having a PC that, can run basic functions well. And so there's some games I'm considering doing on stream, at least maybe not doing like every week or anything like that. But I feel funny saying this. Like, so like one of the first things that we did was boot up Minecraft, which I mean is obviously not the most intense, just kind of get things going. And then I think the first like game I actually played was Magic Legends, which is like a Magic the Gathering themed Diablo style game, like action RPG. And so I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's in open beta right now. And so been playing that. And so I might do like that for one of the Sundays or do something like that. I don't know. And then with having another computer, Deanna and I have also started playing Minecraft together. So we might try doing like some streams of us playing Minecraft after we get a bit more like under our belt. Like Deanna like definitely knows what she's doing, but I haven't played Minecraft and since like college. And so it's been like an old like 10 years since I've played Minecraft. And then it was one of those things that there wasn't a ton to do at the time. Like it wasn't even like technically out. And so like and so it was one that I just didn't play a ton. Like I had a lot of friends that were really into it and I would play on occasion with them, but it was kind of just the like, okay, get me a pickaxe and I'm going to go mine the things and you build the stuff, like that kind of thing. And so I definitely need to get a little bit more like familiar just with what's going on before we try to do any of that on stream. Or maybe the stream will just be me having no clue what's going on and, you know, falling off cliffs and stuff like that. So, you know, it happens.
Exciting.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and I don't know. Because like, then there's always stuff like Fall Guys and stuff like that. Oh, and speaking of Fall Guys, I booted up Fall Guys a little bit today, and they're doing a slime climb only show right now.
I hate it.
So this is how you get good, Shanine. Is it just all slime climb all the time?
No. I don't want it though. Probably right.
But at some point, we'll still need. We've talked about it in the Discord, but it does look like they've changed it so squads is here to stay.
Okay.
Which is what kind of like what we were theorizing would happen, and so it definitely seems like something that we can do like some sort of stream and get everybody on and get like that kind of get a full party and do some squads and try to get some crown shards and stuff like that. So maybe that's what the next one. I don't know. It's there's so many possibilities now, and so
I know. I've been trying to figure out what I'm gonna stream also. Mine's gonna be like the chill stream. I need something easy where I can't die a lot.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing. And I think, I mean, especially I say this as us, as like a relative, like small channel, like that kind of thing. Like, just play what's fun. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like I say this, I feel like I see this a lot with like bigger streamers when they're like trying to do it as like a living, is it's like, I'm really burnt out of this game, but I get a lot more viewers when I play this game. So should I just play the game to get more viewers, or and it's like just do what's fun, like. But, yeah, and so it's just like yeah, and then it's like whatever you like. I think it's whatever you're excited to play at the time. Like
definitely.
And then I guess the last thing for me is I got my second dose of the vaccine today.
Yay!
So now I'm just waiting for those antibodies to kick in, and then I can go and be extroverted in public again. So like that's exciting. And so
very exciting.
After I
know a lot of people have been getting like super wiped out by the second shot.
Yeah. From like experiences that I've heard, it's like about 18 hours after you get it, something like that. And so we're gonna see how I do tonight. Like, and how I'm like doing at work tomorrow. So it's a thing. But yeah, I mean, it's better than getting COVID and it's better than spreading COVID. So like,
definitely,
it's one of those that if I can do something to not give it the vaccine, I'm definitely not giving the vaccine to anyone because that's a bad idea. If it's something that I can do to help reduce the spread, and especially for like my friends that maybe don't have the best like immune systems, that kind of thing, like doing my part. And so
absolutely. Still waiting.
Yeah, still. What is like where's like Canada at? So like a lot of the US has now opened up to like any adult.
Yeah, we are not even close to that. It's still like very elderly people and slightly less elderly people who are very at risk. That's where we're at.
I'm kind of surprised about that.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I mean, granted, it's like our like preconceived notions, but like we always think of like as Americans, we always talk about like the free healthcare and all of that. And I know like we've brought up on the show before that that's not like really the case for all things, but like, but yes, like it's just one of those things that's like, oh, in my head, like y'all would have been months ahead of us, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I haven't been super keeping up with it, so I don't know exactly why things are taking as long as they are. I think part of it could be just like the US has more money than Canada. They just have more vaccines than us right now. I don't know.
I don't either. America being America.
We're gonna get there though.
Yeah. That's the goal. We just need to get there, just hold out, finish the race, like that kind of thing. Let's get into our discussion topics. I said at the top of the show, we got two topics. We got Easter and we got Loki. And so why don't you start us off, Shani?
Yes, so speaking of COVID, we have now spent our second Easter in a pandemic. What did Easter look like for you this year?
So for us, we went with some friends and like got like Easter brunch. That was about what we were doing, and we had some friends that they're both vaccinated. They both, well, one of them works from home, like, and so it's like things are pretty good in terms of their like social contact, and they've kind of been um, our COVID buddies, for lack of a better word. Um, and so like we'll go over and hang out with them and stuff like that, and they're taking it like kind of like what I'll say like what we are, where it's like cautious but not like scared, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as Deanna said in chat, we also went and did an outside gathering with some of her family and did like an outdoor Easter egg hunt for the younger ones, and then just kind of all um, chatted and stuff like that. And so that was a pretty good time just to get to see people, and we did like finger foods and all that kind of stuff. And so it was great to see family and get to hang out, and again, kind of just like be safe but not scared.
Mm-hmm.
What about y'all?
Um, yeah, we didn't do a whole lot either. My mom still makes Easter egg hunts for us. So, usually it's like a clue scavenger hunt. We like follow the clues around the house and find our gift at the end. But this time for me and my husband, she gave us kind of like, I don't know, like puzzle bags this time, kind of. So there was like 5 or 6 different bags, and they all had a puzzle that we had to solve before we could give a goodie bag to the other person.
Nice.
So that was pretty fun. And we got a lot of chocolate. So
Even better.
Exactly. When they dropped that off, we all went for a walk with my family and our dog, just hanging out outside because our restrictions are still fairly tight up here. So we haven't been able to see family a lot. So
yeah, as opposed nice to America. We're just the other end of the spectrum, but you know, that's a thing.
Yeah. And then, yeah, that was on Saturday. And Sunday, we didn't really do a whole lot. But I had this kind of Easter liturgy that I printed off and we read it together. So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Still try and make it feel a little Eastery.
Yeah. I think that's like, I don't know. It's this is gonna sound like bad on my end, but here we are. I feel like Easter was almost like the continuation of me being kind of like burnt out on internet church. Like, I just feel like it was one of those things, and as important of a day like that as it is to our faith, it was just one of those things that was like, I don't like it. Just it was hard to like actually like get in the like spirit of like the sacrifice of the resurrection of all of those things, and like, I just feel like it was one of those like it just again it just felt like the latest burnt out thing, like that kind of thing. And like again, I feel like super bad saying that as someone who like has a degree in Bible, like was a minister, like, but here we are. But yeah, it's just one of those things that is just, yeah, it was just hard. And I feel like that's not a hot take by any means, but
Yeah, no, I don't think you should feel bad about saying that at all because I'm definitely feeling the same way. And like, I don't know, like pre-pandemic, like we'd go to church on Sundays and then there was this bigger service in the city that would live stream at nights. So we'd like watch that one too. And like, it
mm-hmm.
felt like church, whatever. So at the beginning of the pandemic, I kind of expected like online church to be no big deal. Like you just watch it, like you go to church on Sunday morning, you watch church on Sunday morning, like what's the big deal? And now I'm like, I cannot watch another online service. Like there's something, it just doesn't feel like church at all. And it's getting, yeah, it's just hard. It's just hard.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I feel like I'll say this as like one of the more extroverted people that we have on our like cast. Like with so much of church just being that person interaction kind of thing, like just not having that for a whole year, and like we've talked about it a lot as like Deanna and I, where it's like one of the things that's like so hard about doing like even like Zoom small group is it's very much the like, okay, well, I'm going to talk. Then Deanna's going to talk. Then Shanine's going to talk. Then Travis is going to talk. Then Chris. Like, it's just so like just down the line. And it's just one of those things that like it's not like it's so hard just having that like normal interaction of like even just like splitting in the groups and chatting about random stuff. Like it's just so hard to do stuff like that. Like, meh.
Yeah. Agreed. And yeah, like I expected to miss my friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't necessarily expect to miss like the whole in-person community of church as a whole. And I really do.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say for me, like, it's definitely made me identify a lot more with the people that didn't feel like church was their people. So I know we had like people in the youth group that like it's like they came to church because their parents made them come to church, like that kind of thing. And like it was one where it was like church wasn't their people, they were just here so they didn't get in trouble, like that kind of thing. And like this year kind of I guess I could just say like I kind of feel that same way just because it's like it's almost like the don't have a people. It's like this just isn't where I want to be. Meaning like the online church just isn't where I want to be. But like, yeah, I just feel like it's such a hard year with that. And I mean, hopefully we're at like end of the tunnel kind of thing. But yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. All that being said, did you learn anything or did something stand out to you from this Lenten/Easter season?
I don't know. Especially like I don't know in terms of like the traditional like Easter message. Like even like thinking about like cultural Easter compared to like Christian Easter. Um it's like I just like working from home. It's like I don't know, is spring here? Like it's that kind of thing. Um and yeah, and so like I feel like there just hasn't been that, for lack of like a different word, we're like stereotypical like Christian message kind of thing. I just feel like there just hasn't been like that foundation to build out of, and so yeah, it's yeah, and so I think that that's like, so I guess the answer is no. Like, and
Yeah.
again, like, um, but yeah, and again, like that feels really weird to say as someone that was a minister, but like, yeah, I guess here we are. I hadn't thought about it till now, but like, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say I started out with Lent really strong, and then I was like, well, started out on Lent okay. I think like we were like 1 or 2 days into Lent, and I was listening to a worship playlist, and I was like halfway through, and then I'm like, oh, there's a lot of alleluias in all of these songs that I'm listening to, like every single one all of a sudden. Whoops. And yeah, I don't know. I was following a Lent devotional plan, which was good. And I did actually keep up with it for all of Lent. But I feel like the first week or two, I was like really gung ho about it. And then the rest of it, I was just reading it because I had to be reading it. But in those first couple of weeks, I think I did learn a lot about repentance. Um, I don't know. I think I'm always just so scared to repent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I admit that I sinned, then that's admitting that I am a terrible person and that everyone should hate me. And it's just going to be bad. And I realize that that's probably an attitude I've had about repentance for a long time, but
Mm-hmm.
isn't at all accurate to what it actually is. That repentance is just God offering us an opportunity to turn away from that and turn back to Him, and giving Him an opportunity to show us grace. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was just amazing that in a moment of repentance was like one of the moments that I felt the most loved and accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, towards the end, I kind of got burnt out with trying to make things special and significant in pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And, and and Easter happened, and I guess I was there.
Yeah. And Deanna makes a good point in chat. She says, you get out of touch with what's actually going on in people's lives. And like, I feel like even like building off of what you said there, like, I feel like so much of it just kind of feels like just checking the box of like like you talked about like starting off strong and then just at the end kind of just getting through. And that's just kind of how I felt for a lot of this year. And just like, well, we're just getting through, like that kind of thing. But Yeah.
That being said, Jesus died and rose for you.
The tomb is still empty on Sunday. And so, yeah. It's one of those things that like it's definitely not about how we feel about it. It doesn't change the fact that Christ died and was raised for us. People in chat or over on the YouTube comments, let us know what your Easter was like. I feel like this chat got very real, and that's good. Like, but let us know how you're feeling and what's going on. And I mean, I'm definitely one of those people that I feel like especially in like the social media world, there's always this like presenting kind of thing of it's the like, and like I say this as somebody who like literally just did it with getting the vaccine, but it's the like we're gonna just post the happy thing of like got vaccinated. We're not gonna post the like I don't know what I'm doing as a Christian on Easter Sunday, like that kind of thing. But Deanna says COVID is the new wandering in the desert. Yeah. I definitely feel like that's a very apt illustration or apt connection. So
yeah. No, I agree with all you're saying in chat, Deanna. It's weird to be waiting and not know how long you're waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I guess let's turn the corner. We got something completely different for our second topic. And so I feel like the past couple weeks for me with topics, I've really had no clue what I was doing until like Monday, day of. And so I'm glad that Marvel like let me continue to be happy about procrastinating. And this morning we got a brand new trailer for Loki, which will be appearing on Disney Plus. And were you able to watch the trailer?
Okay, I specifically did not because I saw the previous trailer and like I've known since they even like announced that the show was happening before there were even any trailers. Like I knew I was going to be watching it. I love Tom Hiddleston. I've loved him this whole time. Obviously, I'm going to watch a Loki show. And now I'm kind of like I don't really want to know any more about what to expect necessarily. I just want to watch it.
I completely get. I've definitely done that with movies before, where it was like, I mean, I think I don't know if I did that specifically with, maybe it was like one of the later Star Wars movies, or it was maybe even like Infinity War or Endgame. But I definitely feel like it was one while we were doing podcast that like a new trailer came out and it was like, this trailer happened. I haven't watched it. Like, it's like, watch it if you want to, but like that kind of thing. But so as someone who knew that you were going to be going to be watching the show, what are your hopes and or fears for what this is going to be?
Okay. My hopes is just for so much Tom Hiddleston. And just sassy Loki being mischievous. That's really all I want. My expectations are not high. I just want Loki. Just want Loki played by Tom Hiddleston. My fears? I don't know. I feel like the last trailer did make me a little nervous, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a good premise with Loki or not. And I don't know. I'm just mildly skeptical. I don't know. He was just my favorite for so long. I just love him. And I just don't want it to be bad.
Yeah.
I'm very nervous.
I think for me, kind of building off of that, I think one of my biggest fears for this show is that we're going to be getting like Thor Ragnarok Infinity War Loki, not like first Avengers Loki. Like I'm very curious. And Deanna says in chat, yeah, but this Loki isn't Ragnarok Loki, right? And it's like, yeah, and that's my biggest fear, is that it seems like they might be trying to just skip over the fact that this Loki hasn't had any of that character development and basically got handed a get out of jail free card because of time travel. And so like that's kind of I'm curious if they're going to try to differentiate this character Loki from real Loki Prime. But like, or if they're going to kind of just be like, just don't think about it. It's a Tom Hiddleston you love, like that kind of thing. Because it is one that, like, again, even to what you said it really well, or said it really well. You made a really good point where it's like, honestly, I just want Tom Hiddleston doing Tom Hiddleston things. Like that's really my like biggest hope is like, let's just see him, give him the reins. Like he's done so good in that role. Like let's just let him be him and act this out. And so, and it seems like we're going to have a great supporting cast just from what they've shown so far. But I don't know. Are you hoping for a Thor cameo or tie-in or anything like that?
I mean, I'm always down for cameos and tie-ins and Easter eggs. I usually don't notice the Easter eggs, especially if they're comic book Easter eggs.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'd be down for that.
So I'll say this completely selfishly, because this is something I've been saying about the MCU forever, is I would love if we get a tie-in to how Jane Foster will become Thor in this. Like, get some sort of tease, some sort of Easter egg. Like, they did a really good job with WandaVision of setting up all these characters that are going to be parts, presumably, of all these other movies. And, like, I really hope that we could see something where, like, alternate timeline Jane Foster, like, what is she up to, even though this is a different timeline? Like, or see some sort of, like, look into their, like, Asgard magic technology stuff of, like, if Mjolnir is destroyed in the main timeline, how is she going to actually become Thor? Like, what's that actually going to look like? And so that's kind of my biggest hope. And again, I say that completely selfishly of I love Jane Foster as Thor. And so, and then I'd also love to see Hela. Like, again, that's one that, like, makes zero sense in terms of when this movie takes place. But I think it would be a very interesting thing for us as fans to get to see this Loki meet Hela before she's actually released. And kind of have to see that side of Odin with Thor or with Odin actually alive, instead of learning about it like after the fact.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
But it's one of those, again, I don't know. Like, it's I'm also happy with just, like, hexagons. Like, just put hexagons places. Like, but yeah.
See, the thing is, if it's the Loki we know and love, he's gonna be hilarious placed next to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I don't want to say too much because there's like specifics from the trailer that I don't want to mention, but there is stuff that definitely has me excited. And so, and then maybe out of that, we should, as a podcast, do a WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, like, special, talking about all of those. Because I think after those we get What If, which will not be like the same style of show in terms of it's not like MCU canon.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe we can do like a something looking at all three of those and kind of get into a more like spoilery discussion. So
Yes, we should do
um, then kind of out of this, one of the things that's really cool. I mean, obviously, like Tom Hiddleston as Loki has been like one of the major faces of the MCU. But it kind of got me thinking in terms of, is there a character or a specific version of a character that you would like to see get their own show? Like knowing that Marvel is willing to go and say, well, we gave this Loki the Tesseract and now he gets a show. Like, so knowing even like that kind of, that it could even be that type of thing. Is there a character that you would like to see get an MCU show?
that. Boy. That's a tough one because
Yeah.
I feel like my first picks are Loki and Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, nice. We did
Yep,
it.
they did it. Like, um, then, and I'll say, because I kind of feel similarly. And as your husband says in chat, Gambit or Nightcrawler, I feel like that other side is there for me too. Of all the characters I would want to see are not in the MCU. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many of those that like I would love. And I've said this in the past. Like, I would love to see them introduce the X-Men not as the X-Men, because I think that's one of the things that those movies have always struggled with. Is it was, since those comics are such like an ensemble cast, they've tried to just be like, here is 8 people and good luck, we're only gonna really get to know 2 of them, like that kind of thing. And one of the things that the MCU did so well is it became the Iron Man story, the Captain America story, like now going into then like the current roster of like superheroes. I would, and so like I would love to see them like tackle, like, again, not Professor X and Magneto, but like tackle like specific characters, like 2 characters, and just have this be their show, like Falcon and the Winter Soldier kind of thing. And so we get introduced to, I don't know, Cyclops and Jean Grey. Like, give us an actual like MCU rom-com of Cyclops and Jean Grey like trying to go on their honeymoon, which is like a trope from the comics of like every time they go on their honeymoon something really bad happens. And so like give us that, like that type of story rather than just like throwing us into all of the X-Men.
Like that.
Yeah, I don't know. And then like I also feel weird asking that question because it's like a lot of the characters that I would like, it's like they got shows, but are they canon? Because it's like I would love to see more Jessica Jones or Daredevil or Luke Cage and I guess Iron Fist. Iron Fist can be there.
I keep seeing more and more rumors of Matt Murdock being in the new Spider-Man, and I'm like, if this is not true, I'm gonna be so sad I will cry. I just need it.
Yeah. Even if he's not like Matt Murdock in the show, like it's not like called out that he's Matt Murdock. Just have him be there, have him be the lawyer, and then like just have that be the tease, and then we'll go from there. Like, then you can introduce him later on actually as Matt Murdock. Like, I don't know. That's another one I'm super hopeful for. And then I guess in terms of specific time frame characters, I would like a show about Valkyrie, and either being her coming to be on the Grandmaster's planet, or like just kind of post battle with Hela, like what has she been up to, like that kind of thing, of like what is the I don't know, maybe I'm gonna say like righteous fury Valkyrie, and then what is the like, well, we just got wrecked because Odin's awful Valkyrie. Like, what's that fall look like for this character? And so,
yeah, I would watch all of those.
Marvel, please hire us. Like, listeners, hit us up with your ideas, both in terms of hopes and fears for the Loki show, but then also what characters would you like to see get a standalone show. And so with that, Shanine, you got an announcement.
I have an announcement. The devotional that I contributed to, that Geekdom Come 2, launches on Sunday, April 11th. That is less than a week.
Less than a week.
So excited. If you're not following me on social media, you should, because there may or may not be a giveaway. Hint, hint.
Where can people follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram at Hoot and Howl Tales, Tales, and Twitter at the Hoot and Howl.
Nice. And so I remember that, like, that's just crazy hype that's like you're gonna be published. Like, that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And there's gonna be a lot of special blog content that week as well. So at thehootandhowl.com.
Perfect. Get that cross promo going. And then, still exciting, but not quite as exciting, is this Saturday, we will be back with session 2 of Faithful Hedrons, playing some Dungeons and Dragons. And so, all I'm saying is I'm hoping we get combat, or Shakar might be starting combat. Like,
didn't Chris say we should not be attacking somebody?
Chris did say that I'm trying to think of how he worded it. He made it sound like there would be an opportunity where we were supposed to not choose combat.
Yes.
And so, so we'll see.
See what happens.
Yeah. I feel like, again, there's a very solid chance we choose combat, and then this is just where the campaign ends. So, like, here we are. Like, we just roll up new characters. Well, they're the exact same.
Poppy's sister.
Yeah.
Toppy.
So everybody, I think that's at 12:30 Mountain Time on Saturday. I think that's our usual D&D slot, and so looking forward to having everyone there. And I guess that brings us to our top 3 list of the week. We are continuing our series on the fruit of the Spirit, and looking at our top 3 illustrations of faithfulness. And again, this is just another, I made this comment last week, which is just Samwise. Like, they're all Samwise. Like, but I know you were saying before the show, you actually set some different criteria for this week.
I specifically chose people that I have not chosen yet. And I'm pretty sure no one has chosen them yet either. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, somebody would have to dig through the top 3s to get that, and that's not going to happen. So you're good. So what is your number 1?
Okay. My number 1 is going to be Hagrid.
Nice.
Or sweet, sweet Hagrid. I mean, he's just a very steadfast character and very, very trustworthy. You can rely on Hagrid. And he's unwavering as well. He believes in Dumbledore too. Like, no matter what happens, he believes in Dumbledore and his goodness.
Yeah. Hagrid's a great one. Like, that's, like, as a character, like, that's just such an awesome role throughout the series. Awesome, like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so this is probably my favorite pick, but since you did a Harry Potter, I'm gonna also pick my Harry Potter one here. And very similarly, it's Mrs. Weasley.
Yes.
That this is one that like before the show, I was struggling to think of a third one, and then I was like, oh well, duh, Mrs. Weasley. Like it was one that like I just like couldn't believe didn't come quicker to me, because I love that character. I love like everything that she does for her family and even for like her found family with things like Harry in specific, but also the Order of the Phoenix, also like just the general people of Hogwarts, things like that. Like, um, I just love so much of how she like that like devotion that she has to those people and the people that matter to her, and now we kind of get to see her demonstrate that even like all the way up into the like battle for Hogwarts with the pain that she's going through and things like that. Like, um, just seeing her want to stand and be there to protect her family. So, Mrs. Weasley's the MVP.
Definitely. That's a good one. Okay. My second one. Hopefully, my husband is very proud of me for this one. Goku.
It's a good one.
He, again, very steady, steadfast character. Super, super loyal to his friends. And just eternally believing in his and others' ability to better themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another.
I think that's really his main goal, and he just always is going for that in everything.
My last two, I made the joke before we started that are just the same person or same archetype, but like just in different mediums. So like here we go, and they even honestly kind of tie in with what you just said about Goku. And so my number two is Captain America. Um, Again, kind of one of those, actually like the MCU incarnations of him, where it's like it's so much of that ideal, like that idealism that we see in the Captain America, the First Avenger, but then kind of seeing him even going through all these challenges, all these struggles throughout the other movies, even up until like Civil War, where he becomes a criminal and like things like that. But that idea that it's like it's the comic book quote of like you even when the world I'm gonna mess it up, I don't remember it, but it's like saying to the world, no, you move. The idea that like, being the tree, and that's the idea of your faithfulness. I'll look up the quote and I'll have it for post show chat. But like, for some reason I just didn't have that ready to go. But I just think that that's such a good example of just like even faithfulness in the sense of like I don't necessarily I'm gonna say like changing faithfulness. Does that make sense? Of like he has, I feel like the Captain America story is learning where his priorities are, and we kind of see that shift throughout those movies, and that's something that I really like. Is that it's that faithfulness to the ideal, not to what is. I guess that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What is your number three?
My number three is Edmund, which is not an initially obvious choice because the first time we see Edmund, he's betraying his siblings and falling in with the White Witch. And I don't think faithful is a word that we would use to describe Edmund.
Mm-hmm.
But after he meets Aslan and experiences the grace in that, I think he becomes possibly the most loyal character
Mm-hmm.
in the series, and his faith in Aslan never wavers after that either. He's incredibly faithful and loyal.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love Edmund. Wonderful.
a great like second chance story as well. Okay, and I looked at the quote. I decided I didn't want to wait for it for post show chat. So, and so I'm going to just read the last part of it. It says, when the mob and the press and the whole world tell you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. That was the quote that I butchered. But that was the idea of what I was like. I think that that's such a good thing. And again, that is then tie into this next one because it's very, very similar archetype. And that's Gideon from Magic the Gathering, who was very much the like the Captain America analog in that story. And even there, like up until his death being the sacrifice for Liliana, who was the character that in that time is kind of the like, well, you really chose this, you brought this upon yourself, but he still sees that goodness in her, and then offers his literal life as the sacrifice, so that she can live on. And so yeah, so Gideon, great Magic character, but you dead. Spoilers for like the 3 people that care about the Magic plot. But listeners, as always, let us know your illustrations of faithfulness. You can do that in the comments section or over on our social media. I think next week will not be a normal episode. I think that'll be Chris and I discussing our top 10 Strixhaven cards, the latest Magic the Gathering set. But stay tuned on social media in case that is not the case, in which we'll be posting about what the top 3 will be and things like that. And then, as always, listeners, you can find us on social media as OneGeek411. You can join our Discord server if you want to chat with us between shows, or shoot us an email at 1stgeek411@gmail.com. You can head to Redbubble to check out our merch. Then you can watch live on Twitch and find the videos on our YouTube. And you can also rate and subscribe wherever it is that you listen to podcasts. Then you can find the show notes on our website, onegeek411.com. And then you can check us out at our personal social medias. Mine is Humar Whithill.
I'm the Hoot and Howl on Twitter and Hoot and Howl Tales, TALES on Instagram.
And it has been a great week.
Have an adventure.